Welcome to the Becker County Historical Society's Roadshow, and this is part 2 of the Blanding story. So welcome back, and as we continue our discussion with Richard or Dick Blanding, as I always know him. We were talking about the coal business and the railroad ties. You did everything.
Yes. One thing about the coal business that I remember is we used to buy carload of railroad cars of coal, and some of the people would unload a 40-ton carload of coal for $10.
Wow.
And in 1898, my grandfather died. He was less than 50 years old. And then my grandfather's uncle, who was E.G. Holmes, was made president of the store. And at that time, L.J. Norby was a director and an officer in the store, and it was called Blanding and Norby. And then in 1906, they dissolved the association, and L.J. Norby went down and started his own store.
In Detroit Lakes?
In Detroit Lakes, which exists today very nicely under his, I think, great-grandson.
I think so.
Mike.
But Blandings continued as on their own across the street.
My dad and my uncle then took over the offices in the store, and then my brother Henry and myself became officers of the store and ran it, and had a wonderful time doing it, because at that time we knew everybody that came into the front door of our store, and we knew what they wanted to buy and what they wanted to wear. And we go into a grocery store today and don't see anybody we know anymore.
That's really true. So true. I remember shopping there. Now, I moved here in 63, and this was 1863. Anyway, 1963, and always bought a lot of things there. Didn't you have a hardware part and in the store? Did you at that time?
Hardware?
Yeah.
Oh yes, yeah. The hardware was a very good department, and a man named Charlie Buck was the head of it, and he could do anything, including, he was a gunsmith, and that was important.
Oh, sure.
And one of the things that people are always interested in is we put in a central cash system.
Oh, I remember that.
And we had those cages that ran on the ceiling of the stores. There were about 6 different routes, and we had these little cups, and the clerk would put the money in the sales slip in the cup and then put it in the cash system, and it would go to the main girl working in the office, and she would make the change and return the cup, and the cup knew where to go from this little peg up here, and it clamped on the continuous rope with this little gadget. And once in a while a dog would get in the store, and he'd see those running around the ceiling, and he'd chase the cup and bark.
Well, I certainly hope it wasn't through the china shop. It'd be worse than a bull in a china shop.
And cash was hard. Hard cash was very scarce. So we printed, here's a $1 token from the Blanding Norby Company, and here's a 10-cent token. And when people would buy something, or we bought eggs, we'd give them tokens instead of money, and they were accepted money all over as money all over town.
You had your own mint.
We had our own mint, but we had to quit because somebody found a way to copy them.
Oh, really?
And so we had to quit doing that.
There's always a way, isn't there? There's always someone figuring something out.
And we had the charge accounts, and my first job in the store was delivering statements. And at that time, the postage was 3 cents for out of town, 2 cents for in town, and I got 1 cent for delivering them. And that was a lot of money.
That was.
And so once a month I could get about an extra quarter.
And you went out of business you sold the business in
1979.
That was a sad day.
Mass merchandising changed the face of retailing, and we decided that Walmart and Palmyra and Kmart were a little bit strong for us to compete with.
Sure.
And so we decided that we would let them have the business. And it worked out very well.
Well, the Blanding family really did a lot for the city of Detroit Lakes and for the surrounding area. It was provided the bread and butter for many people.
35 people working in the store, and at that time it was probably the largest employer in town. And we had a lot of nice people working for us.
Yes, yeah, you sure did.
Yeah.
Well, we want to thank you for sharing your stories with us, and we say goodbye for today.